Hello, I'm Jonty from the Ukulele Orchestra of Great Britain, and I'm here to tell you about my ukulele collection. It won't take very long because I've only got the one, and it's this one. It's called a ukulele, and it was given to us all on one of our tours of China, and it's called the Genius Edition because the sound hole is the shape of a light bulb and it's got a light in it for when you have those great ideas. So, standard soprano, and well, that's it really. So now I'm going to talk about bass. I'm just waiting while everybody swipes left or turns off so that there's only you three bass players there still watching. So this is the bass I currently use on stage at the Ukulele Orchestra. It's a custom built by Stevens Custom Guitars in Munich. It's called a U-bass. He in fact was the first person to call this size of instrument a U-bass. You might have seen on a few of our older videos I was using a much larger instrument. That was by Crafter, and also another one by Tanglewood. At the time, it was long before these were actually invented, and so the only acoustic bass available were the acoustic guitar-sized basses, and some people called it a bass ukulele. Had 4 strings after all. Some people called it an acoustic bass guitar, but yeah, only had 4 strings, not 6. So I just called it an acoustic bass, and I happened to play it with a ukulele orchestra, and a ukulele orchestra, I suppose. But this one is what I use now. Back and sides are called Blackwood, which is kind of Tasmanian koa. And the neck is mahogany, ebony fingerboard, and the pickup inside is passive Fishman, and I'm using metal strings on it. They're silver wound around nylon, and yeah, this is what I use. I am here in Germany where I'm locked down. I do have another one of these in England, in my rooms in England, which is pretty much the same except it has a cutaway here. The top is spruce and the back and sides are rosewood. But yeah, pretty much that's it. And that's what I use in the ukulele orchestra. Now I thought, as I only have this one bass, and there's only you bass players watching, you might be interested if I took you for a cheeky Nando's, as it were, around my other basses that I used to use before the ukulele orchestra. I've got a few of them I can show you, so I suppose I'll be doing what you might call a bit of bass jumping. Oh dear, sorry. So this one, it's a Hoffner Club 500 Contemporary Series. It's around 2005, spruce top, and the back and sides are maple. Fingerboard is Yatoba, which is kind of Brazilian cherry wood. And it's got an ebony bridge, which is very interesting, and it's great for the mellow tones. This is for my kind of rock and roll mellow tones. I'll just get my rock and roll hat on. Wait a minute. Some bit of rock and roll. Yeah. So beautiful old thing. Well, it's retro old. but I love it, and if I ever do any rock and roll gigs, that's what I do, that's what I use. But because it's got such a mellow tone, you can use it for reggae as well. It's got a very thin neck. Hang on, I'll just get my reggae hat on. Wait a minute. Nice. Good old Bob. And of course, it has all the different tone settings to make it sound like that Paul McCartney Hoffner violin bass. This is a Hoffner after all, so a bit of McCartney now. Yeah. So that's the lovely Hoffner. Next one is, what shall I use now? Yeah, I'll show you the number 2. I call it number 2 because all the others I've got now are Fender Precision, Fender Jazz, and this is my number 2 because I've got a number 1 which is a beauty, but when I was flying around before with other bands, before the Ukes, I didn't really want to fly that one around anymore because it's rather old and lovely and valuable, worth an awful lot of toilet rolls. But this one was made in Mexico, in Ensenada, I think, 04, 05, Fender Jazz, general all-round, general purpose bass. You can play all sorts of things on this, all sorts of poppy things. Is it on? Yep. Do some pop. Yeah, bit of Bowie there. And you can, of course, it's very good for rock. Hang on. Yeah, rock, and of course, yeah, you can slap on it, of course. Hang on. Yeah, that'll do. Yeah, enough of that. Haven't done that for a while. And yeah, it's beautiful Mexican Fender Jazz. So next up we have, oh, it's all too technical. There's the Roadie. Next up, this one. Yeah, this is also Fender Jazz. This is made in Japan, 94, 95. Maple neck, rosewood body. All the others are maple neck, rosewood body, maple neck, alder body rosewood fingerboard. This is the same, except I believe it's a little bit lighter. I think this is probably basswood they were using in the mid-90s on the fretless. This is a fretless one. Fretless is really good for expressive stuff. Hang on, I'm getting fretless expressive hat on. Yeah, that'll do. Yeah, lovely instrument for that kind of thing. You can also be a little bit funky on it. There's something a little funky on the fretless.
Heads up to Jaco Pastorius, who I cannot possibly hope to imitate.
Is what I call the number one, or my first wife, which is my lovely old Fender Jazz, again, alder body, maple neck, rosewood fingerboard. This is my 1966 beautiful first wife, and well, it's from the 60s, and you play 60s music on it, it just sounds marvellous. So what shall I do? 60s. Oh yeah, I know. Do a bit of Motown. Get a Motown hat on. Yeah, great. Blues, old shuffles. Yeah, big fan of Stevie Wonder. Wait a minute, no, it's an E flat. Just a second. Lovely. So yeah, that's it. That's the bass collection. I used to play before the ukes were travelling around the world. I used to travel around Europe playing with various different people, playing in different rock bands and soul bands and all sorts of stuff. And there we go. A bit more Stevie then to play out on. 2, 3, 4. I can't stop. Yeah, there you go, that was an ending. Well, thanks, you three. There we go, that's it. See you when all this is over. Stay safe. Stay at home. That's what they're doing in Germany. Stay at home. Stay safe, stay at home, see you on the other side. Thanks a lot. Bye.